We are on the verge of seeing impacts from Hurricane Helene. Rain bands will start to move into the area tonight. With that will come some possibility of tornadic activity. It's our hope that by now citizens are back home and ready to ride out the storm. Between the increased risk for tornadoes to the tropical storm force winds that we'll see tomorrow, we ask that you please stay off the roads if you can. If you don't have any reason to be out and about, please just stay home and hunker down. There could be isolated tidal flooding of up to 3 feet along the St. Johns River. In particular, the San Marco, downtown, Hogan's Creek, Southampton, Riverside, St. Vincent's, and Ribault areas that all are very prone to flooding could see some flooding during this storm. Please keep your phone charged. Download the Jax Ready app and pay attention to your local meteorologists for real-time progress on the storm. So office closures, in addition to the ones we've already told you about earlier, we have learned that the beaches, City of Jacksonville Beach has determined their offices will be closed on Thursday. Same for Neptune and Atlantic Beach. They all anticipate at this point that they'll be open on Friday. That call will be made as needed. JU is remote Thursday and Friday, so no in-person classes at JU Thursday and Friday. UNF, EWU, and FSCJ classes are canceled Thursday and Friday. At JAXPort, they anticipate all terminal gates will remain open. For up-to-date information on the Carnival Elation Cruise, citizens can text CCL1 to cruise 278473. So we can provide that information for you if you need it again. In terms of public safety, Chief Powers, CEO, JEA CEO Vicki Cavey, and I participated in the first responder safety briefing this afternoon for our 8 emergency road access teams that will be staged around the city. They've already started to fan out. Their job will be to clear any roadways that are blocked by downed trees or power lines so that first responders can travel safely through the city. 2 important reminders on that front, please. If you see downed power lines or trees, report them to 630 City. That is 904-630-2489. Please avoid all contact with any downed power lines. If you suspect a safety issue or a live wire, a downed power line that's free or sparking, call 911 instead. We want to keep 911 operators clear for emergencies. Okay, so only if you're in a situation where you see something that could be life-threatening should you call 911. Everything else should go to 630 City. JEA also has 430 line workers ready to address down power lines and restore power, and more than 2,200 team members who are ready to respond. Any scheduled disconnections will be suspended during the storm, so nobody's going to be disconnected while all this is going on. We have 5 shelters opened successfully hours ago that are available for residents in need. There were already 40 requests for this afternoon for citizens with special needs to go to our special needs shelter, and they'll receive transportation for that as well. People with special needs should continue to contact 630 City, 630-2489 for rides. JTA is providing free transportation to all those shelters. Another shelter ride option, if you need one, the Florida Division of Emergency Management has partnered with Uber to provide Floridians free rides to shelters in counties under a state of emergency for Helene. So to get a ride, just open up your Uber app, tap the account on the bottom right and tap wallet, add promo code Helene Relief, and you'll be able to get a ride. Atlantic Coast High School is the special needs shelter. These are our 5 shelters. Atlantic Coast High School, emphasis on special needs here. Only special needs people should access Atlantic Coast High School. Chaffee Trail Elementary School, the Legend Center, Landmark Middle, and La Villa School of the Arts. Those are our shelters. At Kennight Drive, one of the areas that historically floods, JTA is providing free shuttles for people on Kennight Drive. That started at 4 p.m. today, and that will last throughout the duration of the storm. Pickup is at bus stop 3991, located at Kennight Drive and Moncrief Road. Folks will be transferred to the Legend Center from there, where they can ride out the storm. The Kings Avenue garage is going to be open to the public for residential parking. So if you live in a low-lying area that is prone to flooding, that is a safe space for you to park your car, the Kings Avenue garage. The fixed route and First Coast Flyer buses will begin flood detours at 4 p.m. tomorrow unless weather conditions deteriorate sooner. You can download the My JTA app to stay up to date on any route changes. So beyond that, these are probably mostly things that you have heard. Jacksonville Transportation Authority is going to continue their service as they can while it's safe to do so on Thursday. They anticipate resuming normal service on Friday should there be any interruptions. The St. Johns River Ferry will be closed on Thursday, should be back in service on Friday. Airport still open and no flights canceled as of this point that we know of. Please check with your airlines if you're going to travel. And as always, our public works teams are out there taking care of trees and clearing drains and securing loose items. And we're going to plan on, at this moment, keeping our solid waste pickup on Thursday and Friday exactly as it is. If we have to pick up on Saturday instead, we will do that. Again, 630 City is now open for calls 24/7 through 7 p.m. on Friday. So I'm begging you to please not call 911 unless you have an emergency. We need to keep those 911 operators clear for emergencies. Call 630 City, and we'll get to you just as quickly as we can. And you can visit jaxready.com/Helene for more information. So now I would like to ask Angie Agnetti from the National Weather Service to come up and tell us a bit more.
Good evening, Angie Agnetti, National Weather Service, Jacksonville. As of 5 p.m. this afternoon, Hurricane Helene has continued a northward track and starting to shift a little bit more to the north-northeast across the southern Gulf of Mexico. Overnight tonight, the hurricane is expected to gain major strength as it continues on that northeast track, with landfall sometime late tomorrow, late Thursday afternoon into the evening hours, somewhere across the Florida Big Bend area as a catastrophic major hurricane, bringing life-threatening storm surge to many communities in that area. For our area, the metro area, as well as much of northeast Florida, we maintain that tropical storm warning in effect for our area, calling attention to the magnitude of tropical storm force winds really ramping up for us tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night. So tonight, as the mayor had said, we are going to start seeing bands of showers and storms beginning to work their way upward up the Florida Peninsula into portions of southeast Georgia. With those bands can be periods of heavy rainfall, gusty winds. I just checked radar a little bit ago, and down near Cape Canaveral, there's already been a wind gust of tropical storm force. That's just a wind gust around 40 miles an hour with some of these showers and storms that are rotating up the coast. So we anticipate to see that tonight. There will be some isolated tornado potential tonight as well. As we go through the course of the day tomorrow, we'll continue to see some bands of rainfall. That tornado threat will continue with that increase in the wind threat, that tropical storm wind threat tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night. Tomorrow evening's high tide for the riverfront is going to be between 6:30 and 7 p.m. And around that time is when we expect to see some of the peak surge values, which could be near 3 feet, isolated spots maybe a little bit higher, especially calling attention to locations along the South Bank, including the San Marco area, getting up into Riverside, St. Vincent's, the Ribault River, as well as Hogan's Creek. We think those are some of the more vulnerable locations where we'll have high tide with that southerly wind push, the strong southerly winds. So really want to call attention to that as well. So tonight, as you're starting to hunker down in your shelter with the tornado threat and the tropical storm wind threat tomorrow, I encourage you to look within your shelter for additional shelter. Should we issue tornado warnings through the day tomorrow, where would you shelter within your shelter? The lowest floor away from windows, crouch down, covering your head. So tonight, as you're hunkering down, look at where's the secondary refuge that you could go should tornado warnings be issued for your area.
Okay, that's pretty much the update from here. Anybody have any questions before we send you home and let you get into a safe space?
Could you explain a little bit about what that type of wind looks like? Like how many things should people be bringing inside and tying down?
Well, we were just saying to people earlier, you should bring in, things like patio furniture and things that could become flying projectiles around your yard. You just don't want to leave anything out there that's not tied down because if these winds whip up, they can just fly things around and they could break your windows or injure somebody. So anything like that is out in your yard or on your patio. Anybody else? Well, once again, I want to thank you all for your attention, and I just want to say that as much of a concern as we have here, I hope we'll all spare a thought or a prayer for the folks in the Big Bend as we go into the next day or so. Obviously, anytime you're looking at a major hurricane that could be a Category 4 or 5, it's going to devastate somebody, some community, and our prayers and thoughts go out to the folks in the Big Bend who are going to be dealing with that as we deal with what we have to deal with here, which should be hopefully manageable. So thank you so much, and please be safe.